need to. No. I need to get in here. I need to use this office to broadcast. I need something. So that's what she did, man. I'm telling you, man. I need something to put this on so I can
sit it on.
Yeah, so I can. Tall table. Look at the chair.
Somebody like didn't really want to get here this early, but it was too early. And then you hear her talk, right? So that's awesome. So we're going to keep the ball rolling, man. We got our next speaker coming up, guys. He stood up on stage. You know, Ronell said the difference between him and him 250, something like that. I think we like one pound difference. But it's all good. Man, 2 years, man. 2 years in the business. Art Williams say, man, you stay in the bait shop for. That's what Art Williams said. I guess he be listening to Art sometime. Right? Because, I mean, boom, popped out, right? So the newest Regional Vice President of Hiring, Matthew Hill!
It's a game. I came up from nothing, you can't tell me. Yeah, did it on my wrist, take out my wrist. Yeah, I find
like I said, man, never quit, man. When I got in this business, I made a decision. We actually did regional vice president numbers within the first 6 months, 5-6 months of being in this business. But some things happened because of me, right? But you know what? I didn't quit. I kept going. I stayed focused. No matter what happened, no matter what I went through, I wasn't about to let nothing stop me from this dream. Ronell called me, he said, Matt, that's the devil working. So what you want to do is you want to keep going because you want to see what's on the other side of what the devil's trying to do to you. So I said, no matter what, I looked at my wife in the face. I said, no matter what we went through, tears, hurt, pain, we not stopping until we see what's on the other side of that field. So now, today we stand here, regional vice presidents, because we did. I'm here to help you build your business. I'm not here for games, okay? So I'm about to run through this. If you got some notes, or you ready to take some notes, I'm about to give them to you. I'm not about to play no games to this. I'm going to give it to y'all real raw, real straightforward, all right? But let me say this. You got a coach. Do what your coach tell you to do. I'm just here to give you some nuggets of what I do, okay? So let's talk about recruiting is everything in this business. Does everybody in here agree? Yeah. Recruiting is everything. So let me tell y'all how I recruit people. First things first, I believe in me. I believe in me. You understand that? When you know what you have, when you know your worth as a man, as a woman, as a person, then you don't play games with this. If I offer you an opportunity and you don't want it, guess what? I don't care. Because I'm trying to change your life. You're not changing mine. I'm already here. I already made a decision. So when y'all talking to people about recruiting, stop playing with this thing like you got to beg somebody. I ain't got to beg you. I'm looking for the people that's looking for me. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So when I sit at the table, everybody needs to know elbow to elbow is how you recruit people. Elbow to elbow. When I sit at the kitchen table, I start with something called form. Now this is my form, okay? Family, occupation, recreation, and motivation. I insert me all through the form. Okay? I asked you about your immediate family. That's it. That's all I want to know about. On the O, okay? I want to know what's your occupation. And what I do is I expose the nightmare. You guys, what I did, I sit down and I thought about everything that I hated when I was working. Everything that I hated when I was working. And I asked those people those questions. Tell me what would you do if you was a big boss to change. They go crazy. They're going to tell you everything, okay? Then you ask them, right? Do you feel like you're getting paid what you work? And then I hit them in the heart. I want y'all to think about this. You got a son, right? You got a little baby running around here, right? If your son said, Daddy, Mama, I got my championship game, right? I got my championship game, and I don't play the same if you're not there. I need you there, Mama, right? And then your job says you have mandatory overtime, and if you're not here, you lose your job. Which one are you going to choose, feeding your kids or going to your son's game? I got to feed my kids. How does that make you feel? If you can make them cry, You can make them buy. You understand what I'm talking about? So I expose that nightmare. Then I go to the recreation. What do you like to do for fun? Then I let you know all the things. I say, why are you not doing more of these things right now? They're going to tell me why. The two things they're going to say is time and money. We can fix that right here because we can help you get your time back and make you make more money, help you make more money. That's right. Right? So then I ask them, I expose it, and then I make it bigger. They like to travel. Okay, how would it feel to be able to take your kids to the Disney Worlds and all the places, man, and all the great things? How would that make you feel? They love it. Now I'm getting every little nugget that I need to recruit that person all through that form. And then I'm going to say, what's your motivation? What motivates you every day to go do what you do? They're going to say, my kids. Okay? All right, let me ask you a question. How helpful would an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a month help you only working 5 to 10 hours a week? Does that make sense? I don't ask them yes or no. Does that make sense? Yes. Now I know you can give me 5 or 10 hours a week. I know that you need some extra money. I know that you don't like your job. I know that you're not living the dream that you want to live. Guess what? I just recruited you. All right. And I ain't even showed you my presentation yet. I already recruited you by doing my form. Then I get into my presentation. You guys, let me tell you something. The day that you learn how to overcome objections before they come, your business changes. Yeah. Your business changes. On your 6 page, I don't know who do 6 pages. It's just us. Okay, again, follow your coach. On your 6 page, there's a little spot that says over 20 million Americans either don't have life insurance or don't have enough, correct? That's right. All right, let me tell y'all something. Now, a lot of people have what's called a job policy, correct? Right. So now, a lot of y'all get that objection after y'all presentation, but I'm going to show you how to kill it before you get it. Okay, listen. A lot of people have what's called a job policy, right? Let's say every check, you pay about $2 to $5 for that job policy. Not much at all, right? Now, this is just me talking. Do what your coach say, okay? $2 to $5 for that job policy, correct? Yes. Okay, so over the course of the year, you're going to pay $20 to $50, right? Let's say you're with that company 10 years. You're going to pay anywhere between $200 to $500, am I correct? Yeah. Do you think that company loves your family enough to really send you $300,000 or $400,000, $500,000 and you only pay $200,000? Everybody says no. And then I say, let me ask you a question. Don't you think your ancestors were smart enough to spend that same $2 to $5 and get that same policy? Yeah. Who in your family left $200,000 or $300,000? So guess what? At the end of my presentation, they not gonna say, I got a job policy. They gonna feel retarded to do that. You understand what I'm saying? I wish you would tell me you had a job policy and I just told you the truth like that. That made me second guess myself. So I learned how to overcome objections before they came. A person can't tell me certain stuff because I done already overcome. You can't tell me you ain't got time. You can't tell me you don't need the money. You can't tell me you got a job policy. I done already overcame that, right? And I build. I know the law of attraction. Listen, you guys, everybody that y'all see right there, I'm talking about they going to tell you I help them with the coding through the process. I'm on the phone with them. I help them do everything. I'm talking about I'm on their head. They know. I don't just put people in the business. I walk them through the business. I take them with me. A lot of y'all put people in the business and leave them out to dry. That's why they quit. Right? So that's the first part I want to talk about real quick. I'm talking fast. I only got a few minutes. Ronnie will be cutting me off. So, right, true. Like you said, man, one of the biggest things, man, I say, coachable, trainable, teachable, like all the people before you came and said, but most importantly, changeable. Like Miss JB said, when I came in this business, this wasn't me. I'll tell y'all right now. This was not me. But you know what? I did everything I could every day. I'm listening to something POL. I'm not listening to music. I'm listening to something to make me smarter and make me better. I'm listening to a Cedric Thomas. I'm listening to Charles Whitner, a Ronell Barnes. I got CDs of everybody because I'm always trying to get better at what I do. So I'm always feeding my brain something to help me be better. If you want to do something big in this company, listen, I'm in Kansas City, Missouri. This man comes to Kansas City every couple of weeks, okay? Guess who out here doing whatever I got to do? I don't wait on him. A lot of y'all wait on y'all coach, but we got POL. We got POL, we got audios, we got everything that we need to teach us how to be great in this business. And I don't wait on nobody, I go get it done. I go get it done. And the day you make a decision to go get it done, you're going to change your life too, and you're going to be on this stage being a regional vice president as well. All right? So, I was listening to what she said about, how a lot of people quit. Let me tell y'all something. The United States government gives you 4 years before you're supposed to see a profit when you open up a business. But y'all go on 1 or 2 appointments and then it don't work and y'all quit. Does that make sense? Y'all go on a couple appointments and say this thing don't work. You know why it don't work? Because you didn't try hard enough. Let me tell you what an amateur does. An amateur builds a list. It might be 10 or 15 people. And then you pray that 10 or 15 people work for you. And if it don't, you quit. But let me tell you what I do. Let me tell you what a professional do. Every single day I'm adding to my list. Every single day. Because everybody got to know what I do. That's right. Not one or two people. Everybody got to know what I do. You can't come within 3 feet of me without me telling you what I do. And you coming with me, I'm coming to get you. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what you got to do to make this thing work. Y'all playing with this thing. Y'all know why y'all playing with it? Because y'all don't believe in yourself. That's right. Not this gonna work. This got the most 6, 7 figure earners in North America. You got people making $2, $3, $4, $500,000. You got $1 million earner back there. Make $1.5, $1.6 million. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So it ain't that this thing don't work. It's that you don't work. So you got to make a decision. All right? So listen, that's my time, you guys. I love you guys, man. Thank you all for your time. And that's my time.
Oh!
Joe, you're a genius.
I came off from nothing.
The light bulb going after her. Make me go after
Matthew
that.
was going fast, so he was like, you don't work, but you don't work. I wrote that down. I'm telling you, man. Hey, they dropping some nuggets on the stage today. They dropping some nuggets, man. Awesome job, man. Proud of you, dude. All right. Y'all ready to keep going? Yeah. All right, man. I'm telling you, man. I get the distinct pleasure of introducing this guy, man. This is just so awesome. I think I've been knowing Cedric Collins since I've been in Primerica. And I've been here like 22 years.
Woo! I'm sorry, man.
And I've been knowing him, man. And I'm telling you, you know how you say, man, that's the same guy I met 22 years ago? That ain't the same guy I met 22 years ago. But he was still humble 22 years ago. I'm telling you, he was powerful, right? And this guy, man, look, $400,000 earner. He got 400 codes. 400 codes? $400,000 earner anyway. We ain't gonna do all that. But they match. Yeah. Right. National sales director. Right now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he override like one of the fastest growing hierarchies in the dadgum company, Beast Nation. Y'all know who that is. Y'all follow him on Facebook. Right? But man, I'm telling you, it's an honor and a pleasure for him to come here, man, and pour out to continue, because he started last night. And it's just going to be so awesome, man. So look, there should not be anybody sitting next to me, man, when we bring up the awesome, the unbelievable Cedric! All right, I got you. What's up? Y'all excited? Yeah! It's a pleasure to be here, and I am jacked up, and so we're going to have a great time. I come from the great city of New Orleans, Louisiana. Woo there! Fantastic. So what we're going to do this morning, I'm going to take a minute and kind of, you can hold that up for a minute. So I'm going to take a minute and tell you my story. And then I'm going to tell you, we're going to talk a little bit about the fundamentals of winning in Primerica in all sales and marketing. Then I'm going to talk to you about the 4 phases of building a successful Primerica business. Winning in Primerica is all about leadership. We're going to talk about that. Then I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to talk to you about mind power and the 8 things that I've learned about creating and manifesting whatever you desire in your life. Okay? All right, so give me a minute. I got to get my breath back. I've been doing these, I made a decision about 2 months ago to become a triathlete. And so right now I'm running, I'm training for this deal called an Ironman. I'll kind of talk about that throughout my presentation. The fact that Primerica will teach you how to win at every endeavor in your life. I came to Primerica at the age of 23. I'm the son of a Baptist preacher, and I was an average athlete, a below average student, and after finishing high school and college, I went to work for an engineering company, and I'm pretty certain some of you at some point have hated a job in your life. You ever hated a job? Well, I hated my freaking job, and I hated my boss, and I hated my income, I hated the environment, I hated everything about it. And because largely I left high school and college with big dreams. Anybody have big dreams? Yeah. And when you get this income, they don't fit. And you only have two options. Either you got to shrink your goals and your dreams to fit your income, or you got to figure out a way to grow your income to fulfill your goals and your dreams. And so I'm frustrated a little bit, and I'm sitting in church on a Sunday, and I'm before God, and I'm praying for an opportunity. I'm saying, Lord, I need something. I just need something because these guys I'm working with, you know, they've been engineers for 30 years and they're not living the American dream. I need something that's going to allow me to take care of my mama, take care of my family, allow me to have all these dreams and goals I have come true for my life. And so I'm in church on a Sunday, praying for an opportunity on a Tuesday. The Bible says that if you ask, you receive. If you seek, you'll find. If you knock, the door will be open to you. And so on a Tuesday, I get invited down to this guy's office. I hear about this guy's having a seminar. I go down to a seminar downtown New Orleans, Louisiana, and meet Mr. Warren, who became my mentor and my coach. And after about an hour, he sold me on the fact that if I were money motivated at the age of 23, that I'd have a chance to make 6 figures. I run home to my mama because I'm excited. I said, God is talking to me. Man, I asked for something on a Sunday. On a Tuesday, I get invited to a meeting. On a Thursday, I go meet this guy, and he's telling me I can make the type of money that I was just asking God for. So I run home to my mama. I thank God for her. My mother is a little, you know, she's in the final phases of her life. She's a little ill now, and but I'm gonna preach her eulogy, and the title of my message would be, "Baby, if anybody can, you can." Man, I go home, I'm jacked up, I'm excited. I said, "Look, Mama, I found a thing that's gonna allow us to become rich. I found a thing that's gonna set our family free." And I'm not certain my mother believed me, but she looked me in my eyes and she said, "Baby, if anybody can do it, you can do it." And I thank God for her. Because she could have stole my dream like a lot of parents do. They tell their kids they can't do, they can't be, they can't have. So anyway, so I joined Mr. Warren. I worked with him for about a year. And I keep the security of my full-time job. I make me about 18 grand. Thank God for Primerica and the fact that we're in financial services. And we know a little bit about money. We know a lot about money. And so I saved 15 of those $18,000. I go full-time. My first year, I make me 80 grand. 2 years later, at the age of 27, I started making 6 figures. Today, me and my wife, Tanya, have 22 regional vice presidents in our organization. I've seen 38 RVPs come through my hierarchy since I've been here. And we're a national sales director team. We're senior national sales directors. And we're, the manifestation of that, which I'll talk about, is coming. And so that's a little bit about me. And but winning in Primerica comes down to the fundamentals. So we're going to talk about the fundamentals real quickly. I'm not going to go into great detail because your coaches do a great job of teaching you the fundamentals. But in all sales and marketing, winning in Primerica is is not any more unique than if we were selling real estate, we were selling airplanes, we were selling cars. in our opportunity, we sell an opportunity and we sell financial products. But winning in all sales and marketing comes down to mastering 7 fundamentals. So for the new people that are here, there's 7 things that you've got to master, in my opinion. Now, my great friend in your upline, the incredible Charles Whitner, teaches that there are 8 fundamentals and 10 systems, and he's a genius kind of guy, and you're going to see that a little later. But there's 7 of them that I teach. Okay? Number 1 that we learned from R. Williams was that the fundamental number 1 is prospecting. We all get paid to prospect. Your number 1 job every day is to get up and to find, and all prospecting is the accumulation of names and phone numbers. You've got to find people that ultimately will either become your clients or they'll join you in business. There's 6 ways in which to do that. The first way, real quickly, is from your natural market. Your natural market is our family members, our relatives, our friends, anybody that we know and anybody that knows us. Number 2 is from a referral market. Every time we get a client, we've got to get names and phone numbers from them. Number 3 is a referral market. We hire somebody. They have 100 names and numbers in their cell phone. We've got to use those numbers to contact. Number 4 is cold market prospecting. Chances are that most of you are from this area. Like in New Orleans, 80% of people that are from New Orleans have people in their natural market. But let's say, for example, I moved to St. Louis and I didn't know anybody other than people in this room. What I'd have to do every day is I'd get up and I'd have to do some cold market prospecting, right? Fundamental number 5, or process, the 5th way to prospect, is through what I call campaigning, right? See, folks, when we're running for office, if we were running for office, and we wanted to be city council, a governor, a mayor, everywhere we go, what would we have to do? We'd have to smile, we'd have to shake hands, we'd have to kiss babies, and we'd have to tell people my name is and I'm running for, right? Yeah. And so that's got to be your mentality. See, when you make a decision that you want to win at Primerica, I mean really win at Primerica, everywhere you go, folks, you got to be smiling, shaking hands, kissing babies, telling people my name is Cedric Thomas and I'm running for total financial independence for me and my family. Now, I don't tell them that, but that's my mentality. See, no longer can I get in the elevator like most people do and look up or look down. Right. I got to get in the elevator and say, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing, everybody? Those are nice pair of shoes. I love the tie. Right? Why? Because I'm running for total financial independence for me and my family. Right? Now, when you're not running, let's say, for example, city government, right? Somebody's running for mayor. When they're not, when they won or lost, are they still campaigning? No, not really. No, man, when they lose a race, right, man, they ain't talking to everybody. Well, you can't stop until you become totally financially independent. See, Mr. Whitner doesn't have to go everywhere and prospect everybody. But you can't do that yet. That's right. Okay? The fundamental, the 6th way in which to prospect is through social media. Man, you millennials, I know y'all do a great job. Beast Nation, who I recruited, those people in the Primerica, they've done a great job of promoting themselves and promoting their business through social media, and you've got to learn how to do that. Fundamental number 2 then is follow-up. The whole purpose of follow-up is to set an appointment. You've got to learn the art and the skill of setting appointments, but more importantly, there's the discipline of it. Now, fundamental number 3, then is presenting. You've got to learn how to give an effective presentation. The presentations that you've got to learn is one-on-one presentations, maybe at a coffee house. You've got to learn how to give a kitchen table presentation across the kitchen table with a wife and a husband, kneecap to kneecap. You're going to have to learn how to speak in small groups of meetings, doing opportunity meetings. And if you're going to really get big, you're going to have to learn to present in front of thousands of people. But you've got to learn the art of giving a presentation. Fundamental number 4, then is overcoming objections. When people are going to have concerns about joining you in business or buying your products and your services, you're going to have to learn how to overcome their concerns. Now, there are a couple things that you can do, in my opinion. Number 1, you can get Hector Lamarck's Overcoming Objections. If you go to SoundCloud and put in Hector Lamarck, you can pull up his SoundCloud on Overcoming Objections. And he says, look, if you listen to it 100 times, you'll be able to overcome any objection anybody has. And he's right, but I've never listened to it 100 times. I probably got up to about 35. Okay? Or Bill Whittle, who's also a legend in our company, he did a Overcoming Objections CD with a guy by the name of Carlos Gonzalez. And you can go to his website, which is His is PowerToolsClub.com. PowerToolsClub.com. And you can get his Overcoming Objections CD with Carlos Gonzalez. But R. Williams taught us that you can overcome any objection with 3 words, and those 3 words are feel, felt, and found. Feel, felt, and found. Okay? So somebody says to you, well, you know, I don't like necessarily my money coming out of any company going into my checking account. Miss Smith, I know exactly how you feel. In fact, I felt the same way. Here's what I found out. Okay? It works with any objection. Come in January, me and my wife will have been married 31 years. Right? Amen. Amen. God is good. And very merciful. But, you know, this feel, felt, and found objection works with everything. Anything, man. I use it on Tanya all the time. I come home, Tanya comes home. She says, baby, I got a headache. Sweetheart, I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way last week. Here's what I found out. It's a very short process. It's only going to take a minute or 2. Closing. You've got to become a closer. You know, and so I got a philosophy I teach my team. I said, look, man, need plus money equals check. Need plus money equals check. Right? So if somebody's got a need, and people have a need for our services, man, maybe a guy loves his wife, loves his kids, loves his family, but he doesn't have any income protection. I have to create a need. And if he's got money, I've got to leave with a check. But a need and no money is a waste of my freaking time. And I've got to have enough wisdom to recognize when somebody has a money problem. There's nothing I can do about a money problem other than offer somebody the greatest opportunity in the world. But if there's a need, and they've got money, we've got to get a check. Okay? See, I tell our team, you know, in New Orleans, you know, we're known for Mardi Gras, and we put on these big events called Carnival, right? Well, Carnival's put on by Mardi Gras crews. Maybe, for example, there's a crew that may be the size of this. Right after Mardi Gras is over, them jokers start partying, man. They party all year long to get to Mardi Gras, right? Have all kind of stuff happening. So in New Orleans, we have a great time. I tell our team, I say, look, when we go to the kitchen table with somebody, we're going to have a great time. But a need and money's got to equal a check. At the end of the day, I've got to get a check. We're not a social and pleasure club, right? So you got to learn how to do that. Fundamental number 6. Then it's getting and working referrals. You've got to master the art of getting paid for your time. So how do we get compensated for our time? Here's what we do. We tell people, look, there's a fee for our services. We're going to do a great job for you. We're going to put together a program for you to take care of your family. In the event of a premature death, we're going to show you how to invest money so that if you live long enough, you won't outlive your money. We're going to put together a program for you. But my fee for service is the introduction of 10 to 15 people just like this. 25 to 55 married, got kids, got jobs, own homes, or a combination thereof. And if I do a great job for you, I'm going to ask for 15. Is that fair enough? Right? And that's how we get a commitment for that. Fundamental number 7. And the most important, then, is self-development. Now listen to me, people. All of us are where we are in life because of our thinking. Right? And so I tell my team, I got a saying, look, whenever you're frustrated with your income and you want to go to the next level, before you can elevate your income, you must first elevate your thinking. The Bible says it this way, beloved, I desire above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul, your mind, your will, your intellect, your emotions. If you want to prosper yourself or prosper your soul, you must be committed to self-development. Right? That's how you prosper your soul. The prosperity of your mind, your will, your intellect, and your emotions. Now, I talk about self-development because all of us are where we are because of the decisions that we made yesterday. There are three things later on in my presentation I'm going to talk to you about. The three things that create our reality. It's the thoughts that we have, it's the words that we speak, and it's the actions that we take. And self-development is a very subtle thing. You know, I was telling the team last night that, you know, I got two sets of friends in life. I got my Primerica family, and then I got this crew that I grew up with, right, from the hood. Right. Folks, these are two totally different people, groups of people. These people over here think differently, they act differently, they live differently. These folks over here have never been committed to self-growth. They've never read a book out of high school or college. They never attended a seminar. They've never gone to a program that will allow them to get better. These people are living the dream. These people desire the dream. And the difference is that these people here have been committed to self-growth. There are four things that you've got to do to grow yourself. Number one, you've got to read. Folks, you've got to fall in love with the self-help development department of some bookstore like Barnes & Noble or Amazon.com, and every time somebody suggests a book, like I'm going to suggest a couple of them to you this evening, that you've got to make sure that you get the book, that you get the content out of the book, right? The second thing that you then do for self-growth is then you've got to listen. To who? You've got to listen to people that have won and been successful in life. Man, I tell the millennials that come to work with me, I said, look, you, and as many of you that have been in Primerica know, that, man, you've got to take your car and turn it into a self-help university. I told my son when he came to work with me, I said, look, bro, I know you love Jay-Z and all these other rappers and so forth, but you can't listen to them. You've got to listen to Charles Whitner and Bill Whittle and Hector Lamarck and all the people that have become successful in business. The third thing that you do for self-growth then is you've got to attend. What? Every meeting. You've got to go to every super seminar, every fast start school, every meeting in and out of Primerica. And then the fourth thing that you do for self-growth is then you've got to apply. Whenever somebody does a conference call for you, whenever you come to an event like this, have a pen and a paper, take notes, go back and review the notes and say that these are the 3 to 5 things that I took away that could impact my life. Now, folks, self-development is a very subtle thing. I use an analogy. I said, look, let's say we had carpet throughout this office, and we took a funnel, and maybe a 2-foot funnel, and we put it in this corner, and the people who clean the office never touch the funnel. Here's what would happen. See, we don't see it, but there are particles of dust that are flying around here. But if they never touch that funnel, what we would have is a year from now, we'd come back and we'd have layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of dust. We didn't see the dust, but it was there all the time. That's how self-development is. Is that, man, you start reading the books. You start listening to the right people. You start attending the seminars, and then something happens, and somebody comes back and says, you're not the same guy. That you've grown. And you realize that I don't think the same like I used to. Right? I desire things. I have more belief in myself. Self-development is this very, very subtle thing. Before you can elevate your income, you must first elevate your thinking by the prosperity of your soul, your mind, your will, your intellect, and your emotions. Now listen to me, people. There's something in Primerica. And so what you've got to do is you've got to take these 7 things and you've got to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. When it comes to prospecting, you got to say, okay, maybe I'm a 2, I can become a 10, find somebody that's great at prospecting, and then you do what they did and you can have the results that they have. And you scale yourself you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on all 7 of these. But there's something in sales and marketing that separates the winners from the losers, the studs from the duds, the champions from the also-rans, the kings of Primerica from the peasants, the rich and PFS from the poor. Many of you have seen the DVD or heard of the DVD, The Secret. Y'all remember The Secret came out around? Well, this lady went around the entire world. She says, man, I went around the entire world and I found the secret to success. And the secret is the law of attraction. Well, folks, I've been all around the world in sales and marketing. I've been all around the world in Primerica, and I have found out that the thing that separates the winners from the losers, the studs from the duds, the champions from the also-rans, the kings of Primerica from the peasants, the rich and PFS from the poor, is the great separator.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, before I tell you what the great separator is, let me tell you what it's not. Folks, the great separator is not having a life insurance license, but you got to get one. Williams used to say, man, what's a life insurance license? That ain't nothing. Any old dum-dum can get a license. You know, the great separator is not having a securities license, but you ought to get one. The great separator is not doing quality of business that we got to do to make sure our business stays on the books. You got to do it. The great separator is not listening to the conference calls, going to Super Saturday seminars, fast start schools, national conferences, the ALC, the company's national convention. Your ass better not miss one of them. So you can do all of that and still be what I consider a Primerica group. It's somebody addicted to the environment, but not fulfilling their goals and their dreams and their desires for their life. The thing that separates the winners from the losers, the studs from the duds, the champions from the also-rans, the kings of Primerica from the peasants, the rich and PFS from the poor, is the great separator. And here it is. The great separator is prospecting and setting appointments.
Come on, Sid. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. If you came to me, if the newest person came to me in here and said, look, I want to be a success, I said, man, you got to do the great separator. It's prospecting and setting appointments. And the beauty of Primerica is that doing that is not based upon your race. It's not based upon your sex. It's not based upon your educational background. It's not based upon your religious beliefs. It's based upon your desire to change your family's tree forever. That's it. Prospecting and setting appointments. See, either your appointment book is going to look like the roadmap to success, where, man, in a matter of a week, you got organized chaos, man. You got appointments coming out of the kazoo. Or it's going to look like the desert of failure, and you ain't got but 1 or 2 deals in it. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. And the people that win big in Primerica build teams of people who prospect and set appointments, who build teams of people who prospect and set appointments, who build teams of people to prospect and set appointments. Listen to me, people. I know what I'm talking about.
Good.
See, there are 2 things that your physical body must do every day to survive. That is eat food and drink water. Now, if you don't eat food and drink water, what's going to happen to your body? It's going to dry up and what? Die. Folks, your business is a growing organism. It's 2 things that it must do every day. It must prospect and set appointments. Do you understand that home office that's in Duluth, Georgia, the day this field force stops prospecting and setting appointments, ultimately it will dry up and die. And so will your business. The number one thing that you've got to understand is that the great separator is prospecting and setting appointments, and you get big by building teams of people who do it, and then you get free. I want to share with you the 4 phases of building a successful Primerica business. Now, folks, winning in Primerica is all about leadership. I titled this, The 4 Phases of Building a Successful Primerica Business. All right, now, here's the Primerica dream. Man, everybody signs up, in my opinion, for the Primerica dream. Now, what's the Primerica dream? Folks, to have freedom. I mean, to be free, man. Folks, do you understand that the last time I had the feeling, now, you know, I'm coming from New Orleans, we're big Saints fans. The whole freaking city is crazy about the Saints.
Jeez.
Okay? Right. All right. So the whole daggone place. So here's how my life was prior to Primerica. Man, I was a young man, so on Friday nights I go out. On Saturdays I hang out with my fellas. We play basketball all day long. On Sundays we watch football. And right after football, the second game, 60 Minutes will come on. And when 60 Minutes will come on, man, I get a knot right in the middle of my stomach. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Because tomorrow morning I had to get my black ass up and get back in that rat race. Y'all with me? Folks, do you know I have not had that feeling for 30 plus years? Man, if I was just making a living not to have that feeling, to be free, to be a freeman, to say, man, I can wake up when I want to. I can take a lunch break when I want to. We want freedom. Unlimited overrides. Folks, you know, it's a beautiful thing when your business has been built where I like to say every night the cash register rings at about 10:30, Primerica cuts the check, 10 o'clock, Primerica cuts the check every night. And to be able to get a check every night, all you got to do is to go to the computer and see how much it is, man. That's what we're fighting for. And then I'll have ownership. I had one of my dear friends, I'm going to talk about him a little later, who died, and as a result of his death, his family continued to get the income that that business produced. And then ultimately, folks, to leave a family legacy. They can go on for generations to come. All right, so then in order to do that, to win big in Primerica, folks, winning big in Primerica is all about leadership. There are two people that stand out in my thinking on leadership. The first one is Al Williams. And Al Williams used to say that, look, man, everything, not some things, he says everything rises and falls on leadership. Al Williams said that, look, you show me anything that works in America. You show me a Boy Scout group, you show me a church, you show me a school, you show me a business, you show me a team, you show me anything that works in America, and I will show you a leader at work. Yeah. And then the incredible guru of teaching of leadership, John Maxwell, says, and all of them are right, that leadership is influence. Is that winning big in Primerica, folks, is all about leadership. So, with that being the case, there are 4 phases that you've got to go through to build a successful Primerica business. The first one is what I call the personal leadership phase. Now, in the personal leadership phase, the mantra is, if it is to be, it's up to who? Me. It's up to me, dadgummit. If this thing is going to happen, when I'm in the personal leadership phase, it's going to happen because I'll make it happen. Right? Yeah. Which means that all of the prospecting, all the appointment setting, all the invites to an opportunity meeting, all the closing of business, all of the recruiting comes from me. Yeah. And what I've got to do is I've got to do enough activity to find myself a core group. I remember, you know, I came into Primerica and we had recruited, me and my mom had recruited about 35, 40 people after about 90 days. And Mr. Warren called me into his office and Mr. Thomas, I see you and your mama. Y'all recruited some people. Yes, Mr. Warren, we have. He says, well, great. It's about time for you to do a meeting. I said, well, fantastic, Mr. Warren. I'll do a meeting and probably, you know, I'll do the meeting. What time can I have everybody come to the office? And he says, to the office? No, sir. You're not having a meeting at my office. Well, Mr. Warren, where am I having a meeting at? He says, I don't care where you have it at, Mr. Thomas. You can have it at your mama's house if you want. I said, okay, all right, I'll do that, Mr. Warren. I'll have it at my mama's house. Okay, great. And he says, I said, okay, well, Mr. Warren, we'll do it on Sunday at about 7 o'clock. What time are you going to come for? He says, come? Mr. Thomas, I'm not coming to your meeting. It's your meeting. Well, Mr. Warren, I don't know nothing about a meeting, and I sure don't know nothing about speaking to nobody. But I'll do the meeting. So I invite all 27 people to come, confirm. I didn't know like I do today about the people side of this business. So I'm expecting, you know, 27 people to show up, and 9 of them black jokers show up. Plus me and my mama, And man, I'm devastated. Now, we have cell phones, all the kind of crap we got today, right? So I go back to Mr. Warren's office 2 days later. Mr. Warren says, Mr. Thomas, how was your meeting? I said, it was great, Mr. Warren, but all these people didn't show up. He said, how many people showed up, Mr. Thomas? I said, well, with me and my mama, it was 11. He said, Mr. Thomas, you got yourself a core group. You're on the way to the top. Jesus had 12. You got about the same. See, the whole purpose in the personal leadership phase is so that you can do enough activity, listen to me, so that you can find a core group of people. Now, you can make money doing this deal and not get big. I got a friend of mine by the name of Tony Crump. He just went over $200,000 in income, and he only has 12 code numbers in business with him, which is good. But that ain't the Primerica dream. So what you want is a Primerica dream, and that starts with the personal leadership phase. Phase 2, then, is what I call the team leadership phase. Now, in the team leadership phase, the mantra is, if it is to be, it's up to the team.
That's right.
See, it's in this phase, and what you need to do is you need to build 6 to 10 district leaders and above. It's in this phase that you begin to develop a team name, team colors, team shirts, team conference calls, and you set team goals. I can remember when Siobhan and Antoine were regional leaders. Antoine was a regional leader in my base shop. They were working out of my office, and I taught them this principle. They had a dozen or so people show up, and then one day they come and they got underneath one of the desks I got in there. They got this little box, and they said, "Coach, come see. We got our team shirts." And they pulled those little shirts out and they said Team Beast. I thought it was the ugliest shit in the world. I said, well, they're listening, right? And so they got their team colors, team names. It's in this phase that you become an RVP. If you build a 20 by 20 base shop with diversification, you make over $200,000 in earnings. But 70% of the RVPs don't go to phase 3. And the reason why they don't go to phase 3, and I think you've got to be clear that my whole objective is not just to become an RVP, because we do such a great job at Primerica selling the RVP position that when people make it there, brother, they think that they've arrived. And the whole purpose of becoming an RVP is not so that you can get your own office. That should happen. It's not so that you can have get your own mail through Primerica. That will happen. It's not so that you can get the ring. That may happen. The only reason why you become a regional vice president with Primerica is so that you can hire, train, develop, and promote other regional vice presidents. 70% of the people in Primerica that become vice presidents don't go to phase 3 because, in my opinion, they don't have a precise objective. Now, phase 3 is what I call the hierarchy leadership phase. See, in the hierarchy leadership phase, which is where I live today, the mantra is, if it is to be, it's up to the hierarchy. See, now I have hierarchy goals. My hierarchy recruits a couple hundred people a month, and it does about 300 transactions a month. See, it's in that phase, and all Williams said that, look, the way in which you begin to live the Primerica dream is you build 7 to 10 key first-generation regional vice presidents. You begin to build distribution. And in this phase, what you have is you have layers upon layers of leaders. You've got multiple leadership streams of people inside your business, and you begin to live the Primerica dream. All the prospecting, all the appointment setting, all the presentations, the invites and opportunity meetings, the closing of business, and the recruiting comes from a hierarchy. The 4th phase is what I call the mega hierarchy leadership phase. And the mantra here is, if it is to be, it's up to the mega hierarchy. See, folks, this is where you build 7 to 10. Who builds 7 to 10? This is where Charles Whitner lives at. Where you have 25 to 30 regional vice presidents, first through second generation. And folks, everybody that I know that has this lives the Primerica dream. And what you have is then you have layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of leadership. Folks, it is the most phenomenal thing to be able to wake up, pull up POL, right? Man, last night, me and Charles together, and about the same time we pull out our phones to see what the cash register said, right? What did the cash register say? Well, his cash register was bigger than mine. Why? Because he has layer upon layer, upon layer, upon layer, upon layer, upon layer of leadership. Folks, winning in Primerica is all about leadership. But I want you to understand that 98% of the people won't get the Primerica dream. Why? Because they won't do what's fundamentally necessary in phase one. In the personal leadership phase, all the prospecting, all the appointment setting, all the invites to an opportunity meeting, all of the closing of business happens because you make it happen, but you've got to do massive amount of activity to find yourself a core group. Jesus had 12, and you're going to need just about the same. Thank you.